Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our December Start with Safety. My name is Megan. I'm the manager of the MShot Refinery Training Program here today. So I'm going to get us kicked off. Just a few kind of housekeeping things to start off with. As you are probably aware, our Start with Safety webinar here, we do this free for our members every month. We are going to have a list of upcoming topics here towards the end of our presentation, so stick around for that and be sure to sign up for those. I'm really excited about our lineup that's coming up in 2022. I think that we have some really great topics. This month we're actually going to be talking about mining. Of course, this month is National Miners Day on December 6th, which is the anniversary of the worst mining disaster in the U.S. history. So we're going to be talking a little bit about mining, past, present, and future, and Mike Marshall is going to be leading us in that. If you have any questions or comments during the presentation, please be using the chat and Q&A feature. So you'll be able to see that at the bottom of your screen. Of course, just the speech bubbles, one is the chat, one's the Q&A. We're going to be watching over both of them. So be sure to use those. And we'll be answering questions after Mike's little presentation here. So we're also going to be doing something fun today. As you know, it's December and so Christmas is coming up. We have actually started to implement a kind of a surprise prize kind of function for these Start with Safeties, just as a little thank you for joining us. So today we are going to have a Spot the Santa contest. So we're going to have some Santa Clauses hidden in our presentation, not in Mike's slides, just in ours. We want you to actually be paying attention to Mike, but you know, in our slides, we're gonna have some fun little hidden Santas. So keep track of those. Be sure to keep count, and then at the end, we're gonna have you either message that to us or email, and Lisa's going to have some more information about that. But there's your first two, so be sure to write those down. But okay, so like I said, we have Mike Marshall with us. He is a CMSP. He has been in the mining industry for 43 years. His experience and his stories always just really impressed me. I love listening to him. He teaches most of our classes here at the Utah Safety Council, most of our MShot classes. He was the first one who taught our web-based class in April 2020. So he's been, pioneering, the instructor side of that technology. He's been in the mining industry since he was a teenager. He still is working in the mining industry, working with abandoned mine sites and things like that. But so he's really fun to listen to, and he has some great insight on mining and the way that it is now and the way it's going to be. So I'm very excited about this. And right now I am going to go ahead and hand it over to Mike. Mike, do you want to go ahead and share your slides with us?
Unfortunately, I don't have control of that. Let's see. There we go. Now we're getting it.
Okay, and we can see that now, Mike.
Awesome. That's a good start. Anyway. Okay, I think I've got everything good now. Can everybody hear me okay? You should be able to see a screen right now of my presentation, which starting out with the fact that we are all getting older and we're just drawing in so much more information constantly that sometimes it just overloads. And I'm not going to do that today, I guarantee it. Whatever I'm going to give you today is for your entertainment value and knowledge base. What I really want to do today is share with you a little bit of my experiences and what I consider to be the most topical thing in the world, and that's what we're doing today, is starting with safety. Because if you start with safety, one of the really good things that happen from that is you get to go home safe at the end of the day. And that really is my format. It always has been. I've always been in mining since I was, as Megan suggested, since I was a teenager. I was actually a little older than that, but I don't want to give my actual age, so I'm going to go with the teenager thing on that one. But yes, I have been at it for about 43 years. Underground, surface, metal on metal, coal, sand and gravel, aggregate, dimensional stone. I've hit just about the gamut of all the different type of processes we do to extract material from Mother Nature. And she's not forgiving. She makes you pay the price to get it back out. Now, that's a fact. But I'm really proud to be part of one of the three major ways of getting product for the world. And that is we can either grow it, we can drill for it, or we can mine it. And if we don't do those things, basically our industry fails. And so I'm proud to be a good portion of that and be a miner for as long as I have. Most people have a different concept of what is mining. You know, mining does start with safety every day. Without fail, when you start your work in the start of the day, if you don't know what your health and safety programs are and what your direction is, you're not going to be able to be, number one, you're not going to be good at what you do. And number two, you're going to be exposed. And neither of those things is needed to be done on a work site. So today's safety topic basically is, why is December 6th our National Miners Day? Now that's, to me, is the National Miners Day. I don't take that day off. I work because I've always worked as a miner. So I work right through that. I know for a fact that it's not one of those major ones that everybody gets off. You know, the post office is going to be open. The banks are going to be open. You don't need to do special considerations of any kind like that. You just have to do your work, and you do it safely to do it proficiently. So why do they pick December 6th? There's a myriad of different ones we could use, but as Megan said, it is the historical data on that is that it is the date of the worst mine disaster we've ever seen in mining history. The Monongahela mine disaster, December 6, 1906. And in 1906, 362 of the 367 workers working at the Monongahela mine perished that day from a myriad of different type of explosions, fires, and heat in there. Now that marks the number one biggest one we've ever seen. You know, that isn't to say that we haven't had others. The state of Utah is definitely home to two of the bigger ones. Prior to the initiation of underground mining and for coal, basically most of the coal in the United States was taken from surface operations because you could dig it right from the surface and use it. But pretty soon it got too hard to get. So we started going underground for that. When we started going underground for that material, and it gave us a lot of different exposures. Number one, heat. And the heat came from fires and explosions. Coal basically is that one aggregate that does have a different concept to it. You know, we have to do gas detection in coal because we have to know that what is the quality and content of our air. We have to know where it's going, what's happening with it, and who's contaminating it. That's one of some of the biggest things, difference between underground and surface. But coal in Utah, basically, its history, we are the site for the number 2 and number 3 worst mining disasters in U.S. mining history. Number 2, 199 people perished in the Winter Quarters mine in Schofield, Utah. Again, 1909. In 1929, that same mine blew up again and killed 151 people. So that's number 2 and 3 in the numbers list, basically, of the worst disaster we've had in U.S. mining history. So we're right here close to it, and we should be able to understand it. We have a huge history of mining coal and other materials in Utah. Basically, I'll show you a list of all the different laws that we created when we started in mining, but the list did not start with coal representation. It started with silver. Silver was way more dynamic back in the late 1800s, and Kennecott basically was one of the pioneers in that. The Bingham brothers that created Bingham Pit did nothing more than give it its name. They failed miserably in the first 4 years of operation, went bankrupt, then sold it all to a New York consortium, and they're the ones that had made it big. The only thing that remains for the Bingham family is the name on there, and yet it is the biggest man-made excavation on the face of the planet. Has been doing active mining since 1896, really production mining since 1904. So there were 10 towns in the Okra Mountains that do not exist anymore. They've been run over, they've been displaced. They were all owned by the companies, and they were all displaced when the pit got too big. So my background, my name, Mike Marshall. I have a private business called Safety Essentials. I'm a Part 48 instructor for the Utah Safety Council. 48 and 46, there are 2 different training disciplines in mining. It started out with 48, and then it grew to be in 46 as well. I'll give you a little bit of that, but to tell you the difference between your metal on metal and all underground type of operations are Part 48. Your Part 46 structure is your aggregate industry. Sand, gravel, crushed stone, dimensional stone, clay, colloidal phosphate, multiple different materials that they're extracted from the earth right here, but they don't have exactly the same potential is any underground option or the volatility of coal. So those are why they created a different, certainly not a lesser standard. It's a more point specific standard. The National Miners Day basically represents everyone. December 6th. I take December 22nd off every year because that's the first mine rescue event that I was able to participate in. I did mine rescue for 26 years. I've been an EMT for 41 years. And sometimes I think back on that, I think it was a good deal. Sometimes it keeps me awake at night. But in Utah, we had a devastating disaster called the Wilburg Mine, just after I'd started mining. 26 people, lost their lives on that 3 days before Christmas. And that was the first exposure I had to mining in there. And I was a novice, they wouldn't let me in. Basically, I was able to go down there to the fresh air base and help them change out apparatus. But I saw the heat, and I felt the heat, and I know exactly what's going on. And the reason those people died, simply somebody took a shortcut. Somebody wired out a safety system. That's why people died. And so given that relevance right there, it makes me more defined when it comes to what are the values of mining. It's following process. It's following the defined patterns that we should do. So why is this day important? Probably the best way to answer that question is to show you what mining was in 1906. Okay, so I'm going to show you a very short 2-minute excerpt of basically what it was like to be in mining in 1906.
Underground coal miners worked 12 to 14 hours a day, unsupervised, digging coal by hand. They supplied their own tools and powder. The miner would cut, drill, load, and shoot the coal with explosives. A good shot would drop about a ton of coal to the mine floor. The miner then separated rock and slate from the coal and loaded the clean coal by hand into mine cars. The cars were gathered into trips and transported to the surface. The coal was processed on the surface and then loaded into railroad cars or onto barges for shipment to market. The average coal miner in Appalachia in 1900 produced a little over 1,100 tons of coal. His pay was about $42 per month, often less, because he was paid by the tons of coal he loaded and because of deductions for rent, powder, food, and other expenses. Underground coal miners worked with little or no supervision. They were responsible for production and for safety. This condition of miners' freedom changed over time. Mines got bigger and jobs got more specialized. Larger mines often had a general foreman who traveled to each section of the mine to look at conditions and to assign work. Each section had a boss, the ancestor of today's section supervisor. General foremen often kept no written records and complained that they had so much to do that they could not visit all sections of their mine during a shift. Federal mine health and safety law has grown, along with the American mining industry. The last month of 1907 came to be called Bloody December, as 692 miners perished in underground coal mine explosions. The greatest of these occurred on December 6th at the Monongah Mine in West Virginia. The blast destroyed the mine's ventilation system, smashed equipment, caused mammoth roof falls, and killed 362 of the 367 men inside. The largest single death toll in a mine disaster in U.S. history.
Okay, and that's why basically we had this day established for us. Now that's sad to a point to say that we had to have people die needlessly, to create a day for us. But guess what? We're celebrating everything. We're not just celebrating our past and our misgivings, the things that expose us needlessly, but we have grown and we've gotten more dynamic. That is the past. The average life expectancy of the miner in Appalachia in 1906, they started in the crypts that you saw the people separating the material when they were 8. They became a mule skinner by the time they were 12, a powder boy, a water boy by the time they were 14. By the time they were 18, they're in the faces. By the time they were 39, they had so many respiratory problems, they went back to the crypts and died at the ripe old age of around 40. Okay, so there was significant exposures to the miners back then. Now, completely different. When I started in mining, when you look at the statistics, I'll share with you at the end of this presentation today about where the dangerous industries are in the United States. Mining is not in the top 20 anymore. When I started, we had 8.9 people injured for every 200 man hours worked in our industry. You know, and that has grown. Last year, you'll see presentation today that we're down at 1.82 at the present time. Now, that's a marked increase than all that we were there. And I see Sean, excuse me, basically he wore the Draeger 174A right here, the same one that I wore that saved my life dozens of times. And he was in some of the most amazing disasters yet. And the Sago mine disaster that he's representing right there changed every ounce of emergency process in our industry and a lot of industries at the same time, simply because it was needless at that point to have people die that ways in here. So we have really grown. And where to have we grown to? Well, we've grown now to the point where we can...
Underground coal miners worked 12 to 14.
From that type of humble beginnings right here, we've now grown to this type of mining. And this is why the way we extract mining coal in today's world, through a longwall mining process. And here is the mechanical devices that extract that material.
Whenever mining coal underground, longwall mining is a highly productive, efficient, and safe way of doing it. The coal seam is mined cut by cut with a plow or a shear until a complete panel is mined out. Such a longwall panel would typically be 3 to 4 kilometers long and 250 to 400 meters wide. For seam heights of up to 1.8 meters or 71 inches, the plow is the cutting tool of choice. It travels fast, with speeds of up to 3.6 meters per second along the coal face, pulled by a plow chain that transmits a force of up to 2 times 800 kilowatts. The plow is cutting coal at a predefined depth.
So we've gone from doing it by hand to having something that's getting about 15 to 1,600 tons an hour right there that only takes 5 people to operate. So that's where our industry has gone. And the fact that the instant rate on longwalls is less than almost any other mining activity shows you that the extraction is complete now, and the safety is very much a virtue in that. Now, the extraction method, those shields that you saw move forward. As we cut in front, they move forward and they let the entire mountain cave behind them. So not only are we taking the aggregate, we're caving and letting subsidence take care of the superstructure above us right here with zero deterioration of the surface element up there. So we can mine under lakes, we can mine under roadways, power lines, everything, and not create any damage to our environment. And environmental concerns are a major portion of today's mining quality. All right, so we've gone from this technology, which was called drift mining in the Western United States. This is what we got our precious metals. This is what the silver mine, the gold mines in the Park City area here in Utah. Of the 3 major silver booms in Utah, Park City was number 1. Then Silver Reef down in southern Utah was number 2. And then the Tinnick mining district became in last. All of them had basically the same issues. What shut them down is simple: too deep, too much water, and way too much heat. You know, the element is still there and it's still mineable with the technology we have today. And now we're starting to see the Tinnick district picking back up again. We're starting to see a lot of things being done in the Park City area. So that type of mining is not shut down. We're still doing just about as much as we ever did. But we went from this technology right here, which you don't see any roof support. Well, that's an arched opening you're looking at right there. And if you didn't have an arched opening to support the mountain above you, you couldn't mine. There is no physical support we could stick in that would be dynamic enough to be able to hold up that much weight. So we create an arch in there, which is the strongest formation in the world. And basically it's holding it up for us. And that type of mining is still going on today in some smaller areas right here. But this is more the new technology. And a good mines that are developing in Nevada right there, we're willing to share this little video that I want to present to you about what are some of those technologies. Now, I really want you to listen to what the mine manager says, because what is technology doing? It's giving us a better competitive balance, and it's making us safer. That's the way you want to look at it. I would challenge some of the other things that are said in this, but that is absolutely true. So here is today's technology.
In
Operating mine is a very dynamic environment.
We are evolving as the technology sector is advancing at Mach speed, let's call it.
Let's be honest, a lot of people in the mining industry, it's about doing physical hard work. That's really changing with this technology and digital transformation piece. It's about working differently and using technology to give us a competitive advantage and to make us safer.
Autonomous drilling is the future, really, from manual drilling. There is a big safety component because you completely remove the operator from that work environment. They'll get the drill pattern from engineering, pick the drill sequence, start location, end location, and then just hit the button and let the drill do its magic.
It's all about trying to take the worker away from potential fatal incidents.
We've been able to go into places where we don't want to send a person and do inspections, things like that.
We've all driven for 8, 10, 12 hours someplace and experienced fatigue and not had anything to help warn us. So the fatigue monitoring system measures 24 key points of the face. Now supervisors know that their people are fit for duty.
Yeah, the Asset Health Centre is primarily here to monitor the health of the fleet. Major component conditions, so pressures, temperatures. So for engines, it's exhaust gas temperatures is one example. The analysts here in the Asset Health Centre, using their knowledge and experience, will then send a recommendation to site and say, we're seeing this condition. So it's important that we keep an eye on those safety systems that maybe the operator may not know there's an issue with, but we can see something in the background and prevent it from happening before it does.
The real-time tracker, we are able to pull real-time analysis for our dispatchers and mine operations team to ensure they're making the right decisions at the right time. Decisions that prior to having them might have taken us days or weeks to even realize.
It all comes down to involving everybody on the mine site. We're one team.
It's about how do we train and upskill the current workforce to take on some of this technology.
As a younger person who's been using screens and everything, it was a lot easier for me to get in there.
There's a lot of activity in what we call gamification. These kids are great at that, so how can we apply gamification to the mining industry in the future?
Technology's come a long ways in my career. The systems have become so automated that now production, safety, efficiencies are taken care of for us and continue to make our jobs easier every day.
Okay, now we've come to the newer stage. We've come to the technological era. And if we don't define our technology and grow in it, we're going to be behind the international market because that's where it's coming from. We're actually behind the 8-ball now. Now, of all of the things that we heard in that video, one of the things that I really like the most is why are we using the technological advantages? Because it makes us competitive. One thing I don't necessarily like to hear is that safety, process, and efficiency are all taken care of for us. That if we accept that and say that there can't be failures to any system, we're exposed. And it's as simple as that. We cannot take away the exposure. We take the people out of the exposure, but if it's not accepted by the population, if it's not installed properly, if it's not maintained, and it does fail, and our anticipation is that is what's given us our safety parameter, then we're behind the 8-ball again and we're exposed needlessly. So we have to engage, and as they said in that, we're a team. From the person that gets on the property, the very new miner, to the director, right there, it's a team. And every element of that benefits the team concept. It's all about safety, but we have to make money. You know, we can't get to the point where we cannot keep the doors open. It's simple as that. So we've come from this technology to this size. This is looking down at the Bingham mine here in Utah. Right here, the biggest man-made excavation in the world, and you still see some of the failures in the straightaway background right there. You see the remnants of the slide that inundated the property right there, but you still see the future, which is the side closest to us and to the right side right there. That's the future production, and you can still see it absolutely dynamic. What I love going to Kennecott, and I do the tours for the Safety Council on Saturday mornings. People ask me the same question every time, what are we going to see? And I say, I don't know. There's been too much movement since I was here 2 weeks ago. I really don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing, and it moves at a record pace by now. So what you will see is consistency. Constantly, you'll visualize consistent behavior. And when you see consistency at that level, two things happen. It's easy to spot inefficiency. It's easy to spot when somebody's doing something wrong. And what's even more has a better dynamic is the fact is it's easy to correct. I've walked over to anybody on the property and say, excuse me, what you're doing is different than what I've been trained to do. And if I do it my way and you do it your way, some type of interaction is going to occur. And you're in my mining area. And my safety is just as paramount as yours. So let's come to some terms. I'm all about change, but I can't change without everybody being part of it. And that's what makes it safe. And that's the consistency that you will see at these big mine sites. And that's what's defining our safety parameters. Now, legislation in mining, a lot of people say legislation is the cure to all of our inabilities and all of our exposures. That's not ever going to be the truth. Our first mine laws in 1881 for the silver industry, because of the Monongah mine disaster, they created the Bureau of Mines. And then we had a huge gap in any type of regulation until 1941. And then that was the onset of World War II. And our servicemen were being put into the military. And so we were allowed to get inspectors in there because the new workforce was older people, younger people, and women. And we needed to look at it more conscientiously. That was one of the bigger dynamics we've ever seen in all industry, is the concept of war and taking away the people we thought were always going to be the workers to what is the future of industry in the United States. Okay, and then we went up all the way to 1969. You see metal on metal groups, basically the precious metal groups, vying for power over coal, which was the biggest exposure. Metal on metal makes more money. Coal basically has more exposure. So we're going to write code basically for the biggest exposure. It doesn't mean we can't also integrate all of the other different commodity groups in the laws. And that's what they did in 1969. So in 69, they created the Federal Coal Mine Act, and it was called the Mine Act of 1969. It lasted for less than a year. The Sunshine Mine disaster in Kellogg, Idaho, proved to us that 91 people died in one explosion of metal on metal mine that really didn't have a whole lot of characteristics in that mine act. Why? Because it wasn't coal, and yet it can blow up and it can have some problems. The fact that 91 people died did not change the mine act. What changed it was 2 people survived, but they were trapped underground for 10 days. And in 10 days, every news station in the United States came there and they interrogated everyone on the properties there. They found out that our laws were not good enough. And the people said our exposures were too great. And they got stuff to the point where it was word of mouth from the coffee shops and everything. But that constant media attention is what really changed it. And 2 people were saved 10 days later, and so was mining in general. They came up with another mine law, 1977. This time, we didn't make a mistake, because this mine act wasn't the Mine Act, it was the Miners Act. We went from the coal and the job that the companies are doing to what is the precious resource, the miner. And the Miners Act is what really changed the face of it. Now, would code suffice to make changes in industry? Yes, it would, but that's not what we did, because MShot made the codes interpretive. And because they were interpretive, they can be assessed in new ways and new dimensions as we go through time. And we haven't made major changes to the Mine Act since 77. 4 major changes, that's it. We integrated Part 46 for our aggregate groups because they needed a different standard. We integrated training for experienced miners and for supervisors. And we made an emergency management change in 2006. That's about it. But what has changed mining? The technology, the growth. And the codes did not have to be changed to make that growth functional, okay? Because it's interpretive. That's a different aspect you can find in most codes and most regulations. Right here, we went from a small truck, a mule train, to this truck. And when it gets out there right now, that truck, there's 1 million pounds rolling down the road with material in the back and the weight of the truck every time it moves, okay? Now, does that create some opportunities for error? Yes, it does. Is that good enough? No, this is the world standard right here. This is a 600-ton haul truck. Notice the size right there. The gentleman doesn't even come up with the axle height. That means that tire's got to be over 12 feet high. All right. So the operator is about in the top of a 3-story building, and that's what it feels like when you're driving one of these. It's like driving a building. Okay. Now then, by comparison, can smaller vehicles then be exposed to this type of thing? Not needlessly. In comparison, you can see that truck, full-size truck that we're used to on the freeway, is of no match to that. And guess what? Even worse, from the operator compartment, the operator can't see that truck. All right, so what is the real challenge in mining? Size, dimension, not only the mining area, but the equipment being used. From the operator compartment, nothing in that picture can be seen by the operator. Not the pedestrian traffic, not the workers, not the light plant, not the cat, not the small trucks, nothing. So in that dimension, how can we assess right of way? Who has right of way? This is something that's foreign to most people when they get into mining. Right of way belongs to the vehicles, not the people. Right of way belongs to the big vehicles versus the small vehicles. This isn't like Costco parking lot where I drove in about 3 months ago and I'm going down the aisle there and people are coming out pushing their carts. Someone comes out talking on the phone, 2 children in the cart, pushing it right down the middle of the drive lane, coming right at me. And they're looking, they're FaceTiming, talking to people by the face. They're coming closer and closer. I'm thinking, you know what? I've got to stop. And I did. I just stopped and they rammed me. I got rammed by a cart head on in my bumper at Costco parking lot. And what was the reaction? I'm going like this. The person that rammed me went like that. Okay, so what was the proper reaction to that? Not good, right? So who has right of way in Costco parking lot? I guarantee you it's the people pushing the carts. That will never be the case on the mine site. Why? Because we can't see them. There has to be safety parameters that are far different than what we see on operational values in most other industries. Okay, so we went from a pit shovel. What is the size of that shovel? Well, the bucket holds about 200 tons. Those are 388, 400-ton haul trucks and 2 scoops, loads them up and sends them out. Okay, so is that moving material aggressively? Yes. And if that's not good enough, we now come up with bucket wheel excavators. The size of that, each bucket on that will hold 2 D8 cats. It is powerful enough to take off overburden, create rock products, and then get into the mine aggregate. It's going to really, we're going to sell for profit. And here, the mast, 319 feet high. Okay, so are we getting bigger? Yes. Are we getting stronger? Yes. Do our codes have to be influenced by that? No, not necessarily. We can interpret it to the point necessary to keep people safe. And guess what? The industries are doing that, including the insurance industry, because you don't get to work if you can't get a good accident frequency ratio. So everybody is binding on certain things. All right, but it's all about safety. All right, so what's mining truly? If you look at the main concept in 1977, they say that every type of mining in here, from exploration to placer, dredge, hydraulic operations, normal mining types, all that is controlled by MShot. Whether it's state, federal, or territories, all of it's controlled by the federal government. Now, in the state of Utah, we have 2 different groups overseeing our underground mining for coal. All the coal is owned by somebody. State gets royalties for everything on their properties, but trust lands, which are basically were given to the educational opportunities here in Utah years and years ago. They were given them, they could farm them out basically for farming, for agriculture, for cattle industry, and they got paid a levy for them being able to use the property. Well, that coal is owned by them too. So Trust Lands actually gets royalties on their element of that. So we're working for the public in almost every phase, or at least the public does get some kickback from our operations. But our 3 divisions: sand, gravel, crushed stone, dimensional stone, your aggregate industry; metal, which would be your precious metal; and coal, which would be your most dangerous aggregate. Which one is more powerful? I think you have to just quickly look at a map. Here is your metal, non-metal opportunities here in the United States. They're in certain sectors. Intermountain area, there's your coal. In Nevada, precious metals. Wisconsin, Minnesota, phosphates. From Galveston, Texas, all the way around the Gulf Coast, salt. Trona, basically along the Appalachians, and coal. And in the middle of the country, zinc. And dimensional stone is by far and again the biggest aggregate. But all those different commodities are right there on your surface. Now, what about sand and gravel crushed stone? Well, here's a map of the sand and gravel crushed stone opportunities in the United States, which is bigger, which is more powerful. Well, they have completely surpassed it in numbers, in amount of people, and in different type of processes in here. Dimensional stone, which we do not see much of in Utah, is the mining of, it's a cutting industry for sand, gravel, stone, but mostly for sandstone, limestone, granite, and marble. And we have a wealth of it in the United States. All around the Great Lakes region right there, dimensional stone is by far and again the biggest mining aggregate. And because we do have that, we have countertops in your kitchen. We have buildings with a completely fire resistant facade on them that we can build for 1/3 the weight in here. So that is the new dynamics. Dimensional stone is a portion of the aggregate industry, and it makes up 31% of all mining in the United States. All underground mining, all coal, and all precious metal make up around 23%. Okay, so you can see where we're going with this. There's a lot of different things. Basically, even your metal mines like Kennecott, they're going to start mining. They're going to start separating beryllium this year. Why? Because we need it in solar panels and places like that. So we're building a new plant for that. We're going to not only get gold, copper, silver, molybdenum. Now we're going to get something that's going to help with our solar panels. Nobody's wasting. And everybody's going back into the gob piles of waste areas and redefining them and pulling out more and more material. In the Tintic region, we're taking medical grade clays out of the waste piles and iron ore, and now they're going to go through them again. We're starting to get more things like barite, which is there in the waste material, and we're going to go through them one more time. Now, original by definition, what was mining? It was sizing material for sale as new components in industry. Okay, that's what it was. If you're not sizing, you're not selling, you're not mining. You're excavating. Subway tunnels would be excavation. That's not under mine's dynamics. All right, but if you're selling it and you're sizing it, yes, you're a mining. So in Park City area, what's going on up there is really changed because today's version is sizing element for sale as new components. The mines in this Park City area basically got shut down because they were too deep and too much water. Now they're selling that water, basically. So it's not a mining aggregate, it's an element. And we're still sizing it, we're purifying it, we're selling it. The biggest culinary water distribution plant in Utah is on the shores of Jordan Reservoir. And every drop of water that's going through there comes from the Silver King mines, the mines in the Park City area. They purify it, run it down Provo Canyon, all the way down Provo, down to Mona on the freeway, and up to West Valley and Eagle Mountain. So that water is coming from mining, and guess what? They're making a good profit off it too. So we're changing dynamics a lot. Now, water, basically, that's what really shut down a lot of these mines. This is one of the abandoned mines up by Brighton Ski Resort. And that mine right there does have a lot of wildlife living in it, and it's one of the abandoned mines we looked at. But it's also putting out about 10% of the water going down Little Cottonwood Creek. All right, so are we going to get rid of these mines? No, they're providing a massive resource to people on there. They look the same, yes. They still have some wildlife, but water is about 50% of the water coming down Little and Big Cottonwood Creeks comes from abandoned mines. So they're still providing a resource to it. We're going to keep them open. Some of the mines were cleaned up in the abandoned mine projects I've been a part of now. Why didn't they clean them up? Because they didn't have law reasons to. It wasn't until 1981 that we actually created laws in mining that you have to plan for your own demise. Actually, you have to plan to when you shut down. So most of the mines, too much danger. This one right here has a full railroad engine parked right in front of it right there. And basically what they did, they built a fire, and that gave them the heat and the steam to run the drills and everything in there. And it also pulled air from the mine to the outside, created ventilation because of the heat transfer. So way too much to pack out. And they found other uses for them. This is a seismograph station set up by the University of Utah in an abandoned mine in the Tintic mining district. So there are a lot of different kinds of mines. And of all the mine different types right here, what is about the new future of mining is what's underground from the surface. High wall mining machines, auger mining, saturation, perfusion. Okay, we don't have to go underground to get it anymore. We have full ways of getting it out from the surface, and it's 100% removal. Okay, so we're not having to do the old ways of going in there and doing pillaring and benching and contour mining. And here we can drill into that with augers and pull it to the surface from the surface. Still, the tonnage goes down to ground, and yet it's a surface operation. Coal, metal on metal, basically, what is mining? Oop, let me stop that just a second here. Okay, so what is mining? It starts with the blasting operations. Okay, mostly. We're going to blast it and size it. Okay, we're going to blow it up, we're going to drill it, we're going to shoot it, we're going to blast it. And that's really the start of the operation. Get that thing going. From there, we're going to go to moving the material, pushing away, because everything that we shoot does not go through the concentrator. So we've really got to move it quickly. All right. Other types of mining, as we saw in the picture right here, this is sand and gravel. Sand and gravel mining basically is pushing of natural material. But how about our environment? Because the mining environment is really the critical concern. Separate tailings ponds and everything, catch all the material. You cannot let water go off your property anymore. You have to clean it before it goes. And then the waste mineral is reused. So we're not only doing it this way, we're doing some good things there. Impoundment failures. This failure occurred in Brazil a few years ago and wiped out 3 towns. And that gave MShot reason and cause to look at our environmental concerns. The release of impoundments this is not a structured dam, but it killed over 400 people. All the way down a river here, you can see how it was compromised, wiping town after town. So are towns in the wake of all of our mines? Yes, and we have to purify. It's as simple as that. Okay, and now we have laws and legislations for that. High wall mining is the way we get it on the surface right here. Do they have problems? Yes. About 11 years ago, we experienced a slide at Kennecott that inundated the pit. When you stand in the pit, there's one way in and one way out. It's straight up that hill is not the way. The haul road is. Are we confined? Yes, we are. That's the only way we do. But the Manifest fault that did separate moved a lot more than just the fault at Kennecott 11 years ago. It was the biggest man-made slide in U.S. mining history. 160 million tons rolled down in the pit. They know it's coming, yes. That's what it looked like when it started on the side. That's what it looked like it was over. That's what the pit looked like in the bottom before it started. They were dirtily left all that resource so they could continue mining after the slide. And that's what it looked like when it was over. Can Mother Nature frown on? Yeah. I'll say 10% pit floor involvement to a 98% pit floor involvement, even though the smartest geologists in the world participated in this plant. But there you are, Kennecott today. Still mining effectively, and the residual of the slide is there in the backdrop. Still mining effectively in all the different ways, from the crushers and all the places that we're working. And that's what it looks like today. And that's what it looked like 10 years ago. So have we gotten better? Yes, we've gotten much better. So just to finish off my presentation, I want to show you what mining has done from a safety facet. The number of mines is going down. The number of miners is also going down. So are the fatalities. There were 260 deaths in mining in 1978. Last year we had 29. The year before we had 24. Okay, have we getting better? Yes. But to me, the big number is all injury rate. We're down to 1.82. The number of mines is dropping slightly where dimensional stone is going up. Coal is definitely biting because we have other resource. We don't need it for that matter. Non-coal contractors is the biggest group that are working in mining. It's not mine operators anymore. It's contractors doing the work. And contractors show the best accident frequency of anybody working in a mine. Non-coal contractor, 0.70. It is hard to match that efficiency and that safety. Okay. Department of Industry lists these as the dangerous occupations. They notice the difference. Couriers and messenger, 8.1. Air transportation, 6.5. We are 1.82 in mining. We're 8.9 when I started. Have we gone a long ways? Yes. So truly, when it comes to safety and effectively, our industry isn't much different than others. It really comes down to one fact when you walk into a work area. And starting for safety is the asset that we use for that. Okay, you start for safety, you end by going home. It's as simple as that. We all have a reason for working. We all have a reason for going home. Simple as that. We have to define what that is. It's no more different than that. So what is it that you need to put into your life that gives you that definition? Okay, everybody's got one. I know what mine are. It's the holiday season right now. So I need to see my mother sit on Santa Claus's lap every year. That's it. I have to see the next generation come out there that will be the people that we want to push and promote in industry. And the youth is the biggest asset we have. We have to provide them. We have to give them guidance. We have to give them direction, but we need to be safe to do just that. Please go to work every day. At the end of the day, get your check, be proficient, get better, and go home. Provide for the loved ones. That's why we started today good, because we get to go home at the end of the day. End safe, start safe. That's what we have to do. So that's all I have for you today. So there you go. I don't do it fast, but we did make it through here. So I'm glad to share you. Thank you very much for having me on as a panelist right here and sharing some of the things and my views about the industry that I truly love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. That was absolutely fantastic. I always love watching your presentations. You bring a sense of humor to it and, just some really great information. Actually, with all of our mics off, I was getting comments from my coworkers over here, oh, I didn't know that. And that was really interesting. And so we love having you guys here. So it doesn't look like we're getting any questions in the comments or the Q&A or anything like that. Just to let everybody know, of course, Mike is around a lot. So if you have any questions, please send them out to me. Even after the presentation, I'll be happy to reach out to Mike and get you guys in touch with him. Also, if you are in the mining industry, which I know I recognize a lot of names on here, I know that a lot of you are, just keep in mind that Mike does a lot of the classes here, but he is also available. We schedule him for a lot of on-site classes, and those on-site classes are really great if you have a larger group and you want him to talk about something specifically about a specific mine site you're going to be visiting, or a specific area of MShot or of the regulations or anything like that your group is particularly interested in. He's really great at customizing that program for those private classes. So again, reach out to me if that's something that you're interested in, and we will be happy to arrange something for you. He's always fantastic to listen to. So actually, there we go. So we are going to start with our program updates now. Again, thank you, Mike. And I'm going to hand it over to John Wojciechowski. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have Mike Marshall in the house, so to speak, and giving all of us his words of wisdom. There's a lot of people out there, they think they know everything, but I'm convinced that Mike is actually the guy that knows everything. So he's a world of knowledge, and we're lucky to have him with us always. So a quick update on the Utah Safety Council. First thing, I just wanted to start off by saying happy holidays to everybody tuning in, and thank you for your membership and your support. 2021, like 2020, was a challenging year for the Utah Safety Council, but we got through it. I think we got through it in style. We delivered our conference and had a good annual meeting. We had our first live membership event this year, and we're still able, even with the challenges of the pandemic, to train over 10,000 people. They came through one of our several programs, and we did a lot of this in person. We did a lot of it via Zoom or a web-based virtual format, and we did all of this without any COVID outbreaks in the building, and we didn't contribute to any COVID outbreaks in the state of Utah. So thank you to everybody. If you went through one of our training classes, for your cooperation, and again, thank you to the team here at the Utah Safety Council for the dedication and hard work to continue to work towards our mission of saving lives and delivering great safety content and products and services to the state of Utah. So we are in the holiday season. We are still working hard here at the Utah Safety Council this month. For the next couple of weeks, we have several live classes going on in the building. Anything from mining, MShot training, to traffic classes, occupational classes. Our computer lab is open for the next couple of weeks, live and in person. And then beginning the week of the 20th, December 20th, through the rest of the year, the Safety Council team is still working, but we'll be working from home. So that means we're still available, answering phone calls and emails, and servicing and helping our members and people that need our help. But we'll just be doing it remotely. So if you do need anything, make sure you engage with us on our website, call us, and we will certainly be available to help you with anything that you do need. So. And then 2022 is shaping up to be a big year for us. We have our safety conference scheduled. It'll be a virtual conference again, March 30th and 31st. We're still working hard on our Salesforce systems update. We're revamping and retooling our website, so it'll make it easier for all of you to engage with us and register for classes and check trainings and all that on the website. We are launching are relaunching our Women in Safety Speaker Series. So that's a great program that hopefully we get more of you involved in that. We have our Wish Award coming up in a couple of weeks on, I won't steal Lisa's thunder, but that's coming up. We're super excited about that. We're going to try to do a golf event next year in 2022 with our awards program and annual meeting. We're adding some awards to include a Lifetime Achievement Award nomination. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up for the Utah Safety Council and our members in 2022. And we hope you can join us, and we look forward to engaging with all of you. We're going to get out the more of your employer health fairs and safety checks and car checks. And so invite us. We're happy and able and willing to come. Okay, Brandy, did I forget anything? We got everything before I turn over to Cameron? I think we're good. Okay, Cameron, it's all you.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, John. So I just want to go through really quick, let everybody know what's going on in December. Obviously, as we're going into our 2022 calendar year, where there's going to be a lot more courses available. So if you're getting to the end of this year and you're going, man, I really want to sign up for an OSHA class, I want to sign up for this, I'm not seeing them, they're up now. They're up through the first course. So I've got every course up there, and then they're just going to be more up as we go through the full year there. So if you don't see something that you need, make sure you reach out. The other thing I'd point here is when we're looking at my list of classes, obviously we're kind of wrapping up around the 17th here. That does not mean we cannot accommodate you. We're happy to do on-site trainings. I've got a great crew of instructors here. So now's a great time to start planning out for those cold months as well, just to get some of those trainings done. As far as in-house here, tomorrow we've got a trenching excavation for the competent person. So that's going in obviously with some base knowledge there and kind of trying to give you some of those skills for your company to assign you with that duty. Safety management systems is on the 7th. On the safety management systems there, if you're a contributing or sustaining member, that is a member benefit course. These courses are really standalone, that as well as our behavior-based safety. Really what we've got here is we've got a lot of guys who are retired from safety but are not done saving lives. So they bring some really unique experience into these courses. So if you're in a safety management position in a role like that, these courses like safety management systems, it really just kind of helps you kind of hone some of those skills and really lets you bounce things off of somebody that has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge in that particular field. We have our lockout tagout OSHA compliance on the 8th. We also have an NFPA 70E on the 8th as well. I didn't put that one up here. So that is the new 2021 NFPA standard. It's a 4-hour course. You can attend that one virtually or in person. Most of my courses here are hybrid. So you're offering both positions there. We do have an OSHA 10 general industry on the 8th and 9th. So that is a member benefit class. Make sure you're getting into that. If not, there are other ones on the site as well. So get that member benefit used. We have behavior-based safety on the 10th. And then, I guess I jumped ahead. And then forklift trainer on the 14th. And then Mountain West OSHA, we're actually gonna be hosting their 510 course. So if you haven't signed up for that, you can go to our website and it'll link you over to the University of Utah there. That's where you'll do your registration. But we're gonna be hosting that here at our facility. So again, if you have any questions on any occupational safety training, you need any on-site or any consultation, I also do have these guys with that availability. We can do some industrial hygiene testing, things like that. So if there's anything we can do for you, really, as far as occupational safety goes, I'm the guy to talk to. So please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on here as well. And you can also just call us or check the website. I'm going to pass over to Kenzie here and she'll give us an update on our emergency care program.
Perfect. Thanks, Cameron. So I have some upcoming classes. Our first aid CPR AED member benefit course is December 15th. And then we have our community CPR class. So this is CPR AED only. It happens Saturday once a month. It's 9 to noon. And that's on December 11th. And then our instructor course is in January. So it's the 12th through the 14th. I have one spot remaining. And then our course after that will be in March. So if you want that one spot, go ahead and go and get registered. You can use the safety scholarship for this course. And that being said, I'm going to pass it to Megan.
Okay, So just a little bit of a refinery update. So we are still, of course, offering those refinery classes in person here. They are required to be in person, proctors for the test and everything else. So we do have basic orientation plus twice this month, both December 7th and the 21st. If you've already had basic orientation plus before, and that is, of course, required to work over at the Holly Refinery, then you will need the refresher if you need to just update that certification. We are offering the refresher in our computer lab, usually on Monday, Wednesday, and alternating Thursdays and Fridays. It kind of changes a little bit depending on our schedule here in the office, but we do always offer it 3 times a week. So if you need the refresher, go ahead and call us and we can get you signed up to get into the computer lab. For the instructor-led course, if you've never had that course before, then you can sign up for that on our website, or of course, always call me and I'll be happy to help. UITC, we only have that once this month. It's going to be on December 14th. And of course, with any of our courses, if you need a private class, or if you're looking for something a little bit more specialized, any kinds of consultation or anything like that, go ahead and give me a call and I'll be happy to help. For MShot training, we are still doing all of our MShot classes web-based. So with the increase in COVID numbers, with the, with pneumonia and the flu and everything coming up, we just figured that this was safe. And actually we have a MShot new miner, both surface and underground going on right now. We have an underground refresher class going on tomorrow, and everybody has been absolutely loving these web-based classes. As you can see, Mike is just as dynamic on a camera as he is in person. So you're still getting the same great experience. So we do have those 8-hour refreshers on December 6th, 13th, and 20th. We're going to have another 24-hour surface new miner the 15th through the 17th of this month. We are still offering, of course, those introduction to work environment tours, which is required for either if you're getting your experienced miner or if you're getting your new miner. So we do have those tours over there at Kennecott on the 4th and the 18th. And then, like I said, we have that underground MShot 8-hour refresher happening tomorrow. We do still have spots open. Our next underground classes won't be up until March. So if you need to get that refresher done, then sign up for that today. All of our 2022 classes for the mining and refinery program and for a lot of our other programs are all up for all of 2022 up on our website. I already have people sign up for classes in, January, February, March. So go ahead and check out that schedule, plan out your schedule ahead of time and get signed up for those classes. But I'm going to go ahead and hand you over to Nicole, who's going to be talking about our traffic safety program. Thanks, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so season's greetings to everyone and welcome to December. I just want to take a moment to talk about something that I think we should all know, but may forget, or maybe we don't understand it fully. We're going to talk about the approaching emergency vehicle or stationary emergency vehicle law. Every day people are receiving citations for approaching an emergency vehicle, and they're confused or they don't understand what they've done wrong. People that have never gotten a ticket or people that are very safe. So I've just got this short little video just to demonstrate how it should be done. Sound. Do we have sound?
Merge into the next lane. Slow down and move as far away from the emergency vehicle as you safely can, like this. When you approach any emergency vehicle on the shoulder, slow down and move over.
Okay, so there are 5 vehicles that we should be aware of. So law enforcement and UHP, fire trucks, ambulance, incident management trucks, and tow trucks. They also say that we need to be aware of snow plows and give them enough room to do their job as well. So we're picking up and getting out more and doing more on-site classes. So We can come to your facility, just reach out and get your DDC class scheduled. And we also have material and products for professional truck driving courses as well. Let's get your drivers trained. And remember, safety starts with you. Email me at nrilk@utahsafetycouncil.org or give me a call. And now I'm going to turn the time over to Lisa.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. I also want to just quickly say thank you to Mike. He's so engaging and I always learn so much whenever I listen to him. If I have to be a backup proctor for any of his classes, I always kind of get distracted and sucked into what's going on because it's just interesting and such a critical piece of our global industrial framework, and things that we do in that industry impact everybody on a day-to-day basis. And that was, I think Mike shared some of the things that we do mine and what they're used for. And I don't think everybody knows that, but super critical and interesting. So thank you. So I hope that everybody's been counting Santas so far. For our little engagement contest this month, we are going to have you send an email to safety at utahsafetycouncil.org. So if you want to get that ready, so safety at utahsafetycouncil.org. In the subject line, you're going to put start December with safety. And then there's going to be 3 things. So one of those things is the Santas, and then the rest is coming up. So just get that ready. Okay, so usually I like to share a little bit about some of the member benefits, and we are going to talk, I know people have mentioned some of our member benefit classes so far, so want to just quickly talk about that. Nicole had mentioned some things about driving, and I really appreciate the driving resources that we have on our website. So we have a lot of great driving resources that you receive as members. So maybe if that's something that you're looking for or lacking, reach out to Nicole or to me and we can kind of help you navigate through that. Let's see. So I do want to mention that after when we conclude, this webinar is recorded and we'll send it out to everybody that's registered. And I usually try to send out some links to the classes that we mentioned or the events or some of the programs that we mentioned. But I do want to say if there is something that you heard somebody talk about or mention and you didn't get a chance to make a note of it, it's okay not to wait for that email to come out. So we have to wait for it to download and then trim the ends, but go ahead and reach out to us. We're so happy to help with any of the things that we mentioned or give you more information. Okay, so that email will be coming. Okay, so member benefits, I'm going to actually go to kind of the next slide. We're going to talk about, so when I first started, my favorite one, or the one that I thought was the most important was the OSHA 10. And it is, but they're all very important. But I just want to remind everybody that is a huge, huge thing. And anybody working in any type of a safety related field or having any type of safety responsibilities, that OSHA 10 class is just critical and it's important, and that's why we offer it as a member benefit every single year. So that way you can kind of go to it, you can send somebody else, but please, if you haven't done OSHA 10 for general industry, which is next week, or for OSHA 10 OSHA 10 construction, wherever you need, whatever you need. If you haven't done that, that's a huge piece. So make sure that you're doing that. We also have the free first aid every year. Mackenzie mentioned when those are coming up, but that's also a critical one. You need to have somebody on your staff trained in first aid. It's critical. It's important. It's also kind of the law if you're remote. And I know Kenzie will talk about that if you're interested. Anyway, so some of those are our benefits. I want to kind of move quickly, but I did want to mention, I'm sorry, I know Cameron's trying to keep up with me and I'm a little scattered this morning, but that last one, that safety management systems for business, I know Cameron mentioned it, but this is one of my favorite benefits from remote. It's a class that we don't do all the time. It's only like maybe twice a year. And every time I've kind of listened in to this class, it's been a little bit different, just because it's a way to kind of bounce things off of another safety professional or another instructor. I mean, it's always been great, and there's always the core, but you can kind of drill down with these instructors, and that's one of my favorite classes to promote. So it's coming up. It's very soon. If you are a contributing or sustaining member, please don't miss your opportunity to take that. If you're a general member and want to upgrade for that and other membership benefits, just let me know. We can definitely get that taken care of and get you into that class since it's coming up so soon. Okay, so sorry. Thank you, Cameron, for going back. The next thing I want to talk about quickly is Start with Safety for this next year. We've done a few team meetings, and everybody's been kind of working hard on this. I know that Megan updated our website this morning, and Kenzie made this QR code for us, but we have our Start with Safeties up on our website now for next year. And here's kind of a list of what the topics are going to be over the next year. So we're really excited about it. A lot of thought went into arranging these, a lot of great ideas, and a lot of brainstorming. So we're excited to present this stuff to you, and we want you to sign up for all of them so that you start every month with safety. But next month, January, I'm really excited because that one is going to be all about your membership benefits and how to take advantage of those and how to access those, and maybe some of the things that you didn't know we had available to you that might be beneficial. So I'm excited about that one. We're all going to participate, but it's going to be kind of different. So please make sure you get signed up for that and learn how to ensure that you're taking advantage of all those membership benefits that you should have access to. Okay, so register for Start with Safety. Okay, so on my next slide, I have a quick reminder. I know John had mentioned it, our virtual conference. So this is actually going to be the second question on your email that you're going to send to Safety to win your prize. But when is our virtual conference? So it's coming up the end of March. We are so close to having the ability to actually open registration. So we're excited because it's going to be sooner than we've done it in the past. And we know that it's a virtual, and we're excited to kind of get back and do more in-person things, but we kind of have to do this virtually, but we're looking at the bright side of things, and we're looking about the exciting things. So again, we're going to be able to have some presenters that maybe we wouldn't normally be able to have in person. We're going to be able to engage some exhibitors and have some different breakout groups that maybe we wouldn't necessarily be able to have if it was a completely in-person event. We're using our platform that we used last year. There have been a lot of improvements on the platform, but also on our knowledge of the platform and our ability to use it. So we're excited to use some of those technology upgrades and kind of do some of the fun things that offers. So if you don't love the virtual thing, we get it, but this virtual thing is actually gonna be really cool. It will be very streamlined and very user friendly. Even if you're, tech stuff, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on a computer all day. Don't let that deter you, because it's actually going to be really interactive and user friendly. And we're all very excited. We've got some really cool things planned for this year that we've not done in the past, so a little bit different. And we're looking forward to sharing that with you over the next couple of months. But just make sure to mark those dates in your calendar, and then that's going to be on the email that you send to Safety. That's the second question. So your one is going to be your number of Santas, and the second one is going to be when our conference is. Okay, the other little image I have on this slide is our Women in Safety Wish Award event that's coming up. This one, we haven't been able to do a Women in Safety event in person for almost 2 years. It was I think our 2019 conference was like the last time we were able to meet in person. So we've been doing a lot virtually. We've been doing a lot of planning and engaging. We've done some really cool webinars and activities virtually, but we are so excited to kind of see everybody in person. But in order to stay safe and everything, we had to really limit the number of seats available. So please, if you're interested in coming to this, and you really should be, it's going to be awesome. Make sure you get signed up for that ASAP. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's at Red Butte Gardens up by the University of Utah. Your tickets to the event also include admission to the garden. So the event will be from 11:30 to 1:30, but if you were to kind of come a little early or wanted to stay late and walk through the garden, that's an option, which is kind of fun. We're going to do a lot of fun recognition stuff. Our speaker, Pat Jones, she's the CEO of the Women's Leadership Institute. Some of the things that we've done as a women in safety group were kind of recommended by her organization, some of the speakers that we've had and everything. So we've appreciated what she's done, and now she's going to even come and speak to us, and we're looking forward to that. She's a former senator. She's got a lot of great experience and a lot of things to share with us, so it should be really interesting. We also have our photographer coming, so if you want to take a picture or do something like that, you absolutely can. You don't have to, but we're just really looking forward to this event. It's going to be a lot of fun, a little bit different than maybe a normal awards event. But we hope you consider coming. If you haven't ever come to a women in safety event or been engaged with this group in the past, that's okay. The only requirement we have is that you support women in safety. So everybody's welcome, and we'd love to have you attend. Okay, so the next slide, I wanted to just quickly mention, I usually talk a little bit about our streaming library. That's huge, but sometimes I forget the internet isn't always everywhere, right? So another option we have for some safety videos is our DVD library. I overheard Cassie and Cameron going through the list the other day. We're getting a bunch of new ones. I think every year we get some new ones. So if the internet and the safety streaming videos doesn't totally work for you, I know that a lot of times people are like on site or in an area where they don't have a lot of internet, so they prefer a DVD, or it's just the technology of their space or whatever's just more user friendly. So we've got tons of those. There's actually a listing on our website. Once we get those new ones in, we'll update it, but we do get new ones every year. There's a lot of stuff. So if you're looking for something specific, you can reach out to me or reach out to Cassie, and we can help you track those down. So I know I haven't said that a lot in the past, but we do have like a great DVD library as well as our streaming library. And those video streaming resources are great. Even if you can't necessarily stream a video to your team, they come with supplemental material. Some of them have PowerPoints, and some of them even have leader guides, but they all have at least a certificate, a quiz, an answer sheet, that type of stuff. So just wanted to remind everybody about those types of things. I also wanted to mention our Take Safety Home program. If you looked back, or if you remember back from the Start with Safety slide, we're hoping to do a Start with Safety, or we're scheduled to do a Start with Safety, so we will be doing it, kind of about safety at home and safety. You know, we go to work and things are regimented, and we have our PPE provided, and then sometimes we kind of forget to take those practices at home to our homes, and we are a little more liable. But we have a program, we've got materials. You can check out more information on our website. You can download a lot of really great tools. You can actually even request us to mail you some of our Take Safety Home stuff as well, and that's all available on our website. So I'll include that link on our follow-up email. But I just wanted to remind everybody about that one because it's an important one. Okay, so I think that's basically all I want to talk about. So we can go to the next slide or not. But so our contest, right, is the email. What you're going to do is send an email to safety, like we had discussed, safety@utahsafetycouncil.org. And then in the subject line, start December with safety. And then the number 1, you're going to put how many Santas you saw. And then number 2, that is going to be the dates of our upcoming conference. And then the third thing, I just wanted you to write something interesting that you heard this morning during Start With Safety. It can be something Mike said, something one of us said. Seeing a picture of Santa may have been the most interesting thing. Just a couple of words or a sentence or two about what you thought was most interesting from today. So again, I just want to say thank you for participating, especially to Mike. I also want to say this is such a team effort, and I really appreciate our team making this, making Start With Safety happen. Sometimes it's a little bit of a scramble, and sometimes it's, oh, we've got to do this, but it's so worthwhile, and we appreciate doing it. And we're excited about it. And we're looking forward to what's coming up for the next year. So we hope to see you in those, and we look forward to seeing you next month for Start With Safety on January 6th. So thanks again for participating, and we hope you have a safe December.